Right, actually, on the topic of India and Hinduism.
Oh yeah, did Jesus make it out to India?
Well, yeah, what do you think of that
no,
claim?
I don't think so. So the claim
people think that.
comes. So there was a guy named I'm gonna forget his name. He was a Russian researcher in the 1800s, and he made this claim that he went out to Tibet and he found a document in a Tibetan monastery that talked about Jesus studying there in India. His name's eluding me. It'll pop in my brain. Nicholas Notovich. That's him. So the problem is that he basically, with all these things, right, Emerald Tablets of Thoth, all the evidence disappears, right? And then you have, like, trust me, bro. And actually, a statement came out from the monks at this particular monastery, and they're like, we have no idea what this guy's talking about. No Russian has ever showed up here. But he made this claim that Jesus went to India, and when he was in his childhood missing years.
Got it.
So you have his birth story, right? And then you have a story in the Gospel of Luke where he's 12 years old, and Mary, Joseph, and Jesus go to Jerusalem, and then Mary and Joseph conveniently lose the Son of God, and they heck it out of there, and then
Home
realize
Alone.
he's not with them. They go back to the temple, and he's teaching.
Home Alone is the fucking Jesus story too.
Yes.
I know, it's all the Jesus story.
Yeah, Matrix is Hindu.
Yeah.
That's my point. But Home Alone, Home Alone.
You let us have that one.
That's y'all.
Lost in Jerusalem.
If he's the Messiah, why aren't they keeping track of everything happening throughout his entire life?
Good question. So the Gospels are a form of ancient biography. And when you read, there are stipulations for ancient biography. So there are guys like Lucian who writes a document called How to Write Good History in the ancient world, right? So he's a little bit before Jesus. And he actually talks about, and some other ancient like biographers, historians talk about how do you write good history. And the editing process, they say, is just as important as what you include. So in the 18th, 19th century, a lot of these German scholars looked at the Gospels and they said, these can't be biographies, because we know that biographies include stories of your childhood and particularly psychologize. So we have to remove these as thinking about them as biographies. What they failed to understand is that there was already a category in the ancient world for what biographies looked like. And whether the gospel authors were reading like Lucian and Celsus and Aristophanes or not, which I don't think they necessarily were, it was in the zeitgeist that you include what's important and you make sure that you don't add fluff, particularly because these are very arduous and expensive to write. And so you include if there's something noteworthy about. So the birth is noteworthy. The story where Jesus goes to the temple and all of these teachers in the temple are amazed by this 12-year-old boy who's teaching them stuff. That's in there.